Great acting work speaks for itself, but there's no denying the value of awards to performers. If nothing else, they get to raise their asking quote for all future roles and will forever have Academy Award winner written in front of their name. And while the majority of actors accept their acting awards in the most straightforward, bog-standard way possible, saying a few polite thank yous, talking about what the role meant to them, and then just leaving the stage, every so often an actor will skirt the expected and do something totally different. Perhaps they accepted their award in a wildly unexpected location, got into some hilarious shenanigans on stage, or gave a speech that nobody saw coming. Whatever they did, they quickly made headlines, and years or even decades later, these actors remain fondly remembered for their surprising, classy, and hilarious awards acceptances. Everybody loves a humble actor, but sometimes it's nice to see awards conventions get blown apart in ways both entertaining and affecting, and seeing actors pour in a little bit of that special razzle-dazzle to do just that. I'm Ewan, you're watching What Culture, and here are the 10 best ways actors accepted awards. Number 10. Golem steals Andy Circus's MTV Movie Award. Awards shows love gimmicky skits where CGI or animated characters make an appearance, and the 2003 MTV Movie Awards might lay claim to the best one ever, when Andy Circus won the impressively ahead of its time award for Best Visual Performance. Circus scooped the gong for his turn as Golem in Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, and because Circus was in New Zealand shooting pickups for Return of the King at the time, he accepted the award via video link. Moments into Circus's speech, however, a fully CGI-rendered Golem runs into the studio, grabs the award, and starts proclaiming that he's the real reason Circus won. Golem then goes on a self-hating rant while Circus watches in agony before Golem then starts dropping F-bombs and basically slagging off everyone in sight, including Circus, Peter Jackson, MTV, and even Dobby. The skit quickly went viral before, viral was a thing, and proved popular enough to actually win an award itself. The 2004 Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation Short Film. Brilliant. Number 9. Ving Rhames gives his Golden Globe to fellow nominee Jack Lemmon. In 1998, Ving Rhames won the Golden Globe for Best Actor, miniseries or TV film, for his performance in Don King, Only in America, and did perhaps the classiest thing that anybody has ever done at the Golden Globes, which, admittedly, is a pretty low bar, but wait to see where I'm going with this. When a visibly moved Rhames took to the stage, he soon enough asked his fellow nominee, Jack Lemmon, to join him, at which point he gave his own Golden Globe to Lemmon, implying that he believed he was the rightful winner of the award. Lemmon attempted to give the award back to Rhames, but he refused, and so Lemmon, clearly overcome with emotion, called the gesture one of the nicest, sweetest moments I've ever known in my life. In light of this, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association had a second award made for Rhames, ensuring he still received a statuette of his own. Look, we always knew that Ving Rhames was cool, but with this impossibly generous gesture, he went straight into the stratosphere. Number 8. Joan Crawford accepts her Best Actress Oscar from bed. Joan Crawford was nothing if not an actress who marched to the beat of her own drum, and is distinguished as the only Oscar-winning actor to accept their award from the comfort of their own bed. We love a comfy queen, don't we, folks? Crawford won the Best Actress Oscar in 1946 for Mildred Pierce, though wasn't present to accept it. Crawford initially claimed that this was due to illness, though later admitted that she was afraid of losing, believing that Ingrid Bergman would beat her for her performance in The Bells of St. Mary's. Hilariously though, Crawford won and quickly assembled both the press and a hair and makeup team to her own home, where photos were snapped of director Michael Curtis hand-delivering the Oscar to her while she remained laid up in bed. Now, that's winning the Oscars. Though some accuse Crawford of contriving the whole debacle as a publicity stunt, and honestly, it's easy to believe, it's nevertheless an amusing slice of awards history and undeniably one of the coolest ways anyone has ever won any award ever. Don't leave the bed to get an Oscar. Let it just come to you. Number 7. Joe Pesci gives a 5-word Oscar acceptance speech. Lofty expectations are always placed upon award-winning actors to give a memorable, classy, funny, or heartfelt acceptance speech in that order, which demonstrates how grateful they are for winning the Golden Statuette. But Joe Pesci did the most Joe Pesci thing imaginable when his turn came. Gotta love this guy. Pesci won the Best Supporting Actor Oscar in 1991 for his phenomenal performance in Goodfellas, and when he took to the podium, audiences were surely expecting a whole lot more than he gave them. Pesci reached the stage, picked up his Oscar statue, took a deep breath, and rather than launch into a lengthy, rehearsed speech, simply said, "It's my privilege, thank you," before walking off the stage to a round of applause. And you know what? Yes, Joe Pesci, that was great. It was fitting that Pesci, an actor who made every word count and a low-profile man away from movie sets by all accounts, dispensed with the expectedly gushing 10-minute speech and instead gave this modest, speedy thanks before exiting the stage with his Oscar in tow. It remains one of the shortest accepted speeches in Oscar history, and more could probably do well to follow his lead. Number 6. Jim Carrey cosplays as Jim Morrison while accepting an MTV Movie Award. Again, proving that actors love the MTV Movie Awards because they don't take themselves particularly seriously and allow those invited to goof off, we have Jim Carrey's legendary acceptance speech when he won the 1999 Best Actor Award for his performance in The Truman Show. Ignoring the fact that Carrey was up against Ben Affleck in Armageddon and Adam Sandler in The Waterboy, he decided to have a little fun and attend the ceremony totally unrecognizable, dressed up as a long-haired, bearded, chain-smoking, hippie-bearing, and uncanny resemblance to Jim Morrison. Carrey kept a low profile throughout the ceremony, enough that most didn't even know who the long-haired man was until Carrey won the award and suddenly hit the stage. Cue Carrey giving one of the funniest and most brilliantly unhinged acceptance speeches in awards history. The actor threw some light shade at the Oscars race, where he failed to receive a widely expected Best Actor nomination, before randomly asking MTV's programmers to include rock band Foghat in their music rotation. Carrey then ended the speech by commenting on the attractiveness of the ladies in the audience, that's the clean version, and belting out a rendition of Eric Clapton's Let It Grow. Yeah. Throughout all of this, Carrey remained in character with a distinct southern drawl, in turn giving fans an unforgettable slice of peak-era comedic method acting. Number 5. Eva Marie Saint accepts Oscar while 9 months pregnant. Jokes she might have the baby on stage. Eva Marie Saint won the 1955 Best Supporting Actress Oscar for her big screen debut in On the Waterfront and came to the stage in a uniquely delicate condition. She was 9 months pregnant with her son, Daryl. Saint's husband, Jeffrey Hayden, was reportedly worried that she might stand up too quickly upon being announced as the winner. A radiant Saint nevertheless took to the Oscars podium with swagger to accept her award, give it a big old smooch, and then well and truly cemented herself in awards history with the iconic proclamation, "I may have the baby right here," to hysterical laughter from the assembled audience. And Saint was almost right. She ended up giving birth to her son just 2 days after accepting her award. Talk about a week to remember. Fun fact, at 98 years of age, Saint is currently the oldest living Oscar winner from any of the acting categories. Number 4. Paul Newman no-shows his Oscar win. Compares it to chasing a beautiful woman for 80 years. One of the undisputed kings of Hollywood cool, Paul Newman finally won a competitive acting Oscar in 1987 for The Color of Money, this being the legendary performer's 7th acting nomination and coming a year after he won an honorary Academy Award, typically a sign the Academy thinks you're probably not winning one outright. Yet Newman didn't bother with attending the ceremony, having grown tired of the awards circus and evidently resigned to the fact he wouldn't win, a fact likely compounded by receiving that honorary gong the year prior. All the same, the smart money was certainly on him to win, and indeed he did. The award was instead accepted on Newman's behalf by AMPAS President Robert Wise, and when Newman was subsequently interviewed about the win, he gave the most note-perfect, on-brand Paul Newman response imaginable. It's like chasing a beautiful woman for 80 years. Finally she relents and you say, "I'm terribly sorry, I'm tired." Number 3. Ellen Burstin gets Martin Scorsese to accept her Best Actress Oscar. tells him to thank himself. The great Ellen Burstin won the 1975 Best Actress Oscar for her performance in Martin Scorsese's Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. But because Burstin was performing the play same time next year on Broadway at the time and didn't want to disappoint paying customers, she declined to appear at the awards ceremony. Instead, she appointed director Scorsese to accept the award on her behalf, which is probably cool enough to earn Burstin a spot on this list, but she went one step further. She also told Scorsese to thank himself when he got on stage. And so, when Burstin won and Scorsese collected the award, he thanked the Academy voters and the movie's cast and crew on Burstin's behalf, before sheepishly thanking himself and walking off stage with the award to the audience's amusement. It's all extra poetic when you consider that Scorsese himself wouldn't win his own long overdue Oscar for another 32 years, when he finally snagged Best Director for The Departed in 2007. Number 2. Jack Nicholson accepts BAFTA on the set of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Satellite feed acceptance speeches always tend to be fun, especially if the award winner is in an unexpected location, as was most certainly the case when Jack Nicholson won the 1975 Best Actor BAFTA for his performances in Chinatown and The Last Detail. An unfair fight, if ever there was one, really. Nicholson was in Salem, Oregon shooting One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest at the time, and so beamed into the BAFTAs directly from the set while in costume and surrounded by the movie's cast, including Danny DeVito up front to accept the award. Better still, Nicholson even started his speech with a hilarious gag where he pretended to be inaudible until he smashed the hospital's reception window in front of the camera and began his speech proper. During the speech, Nicholson joked that he had been institutionalized on the set before it wrapped up with Nicholson's co-star, Louise Fletcher, in costume as the infamous Nurse Ratched, interrupting and telling the audience that Mr. Nicholson had to come with her. Somewhat fittingly, Nicholson won the Best Actor BAFTA again 2 years later for his performance in, you would guess it correctly, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Great guy, and I really do hope he's enjoying his best basketball court existence right now. And number 1, Jack Palance stops his Oscar acceptance speech to do push-ups. Jack Palance finally won a damn Oscar in 1992, a Best Supporting Actor gong for City Slickers, which he received almost 40 years after his first Oscar nomination. Palance gave a characteristically irreverent acceptance speech, beginning with the immortal one-liner paraphrase from the movie itself, "Billy Crystal, I crap bigger than him." The 73-year-old Palance then talked about producers getting concerned about hiring actors of a certain age, at which point he proved just how spry he actually was, stopping his speech to deliver some one-handed push-ups on the stage. Palance then followed up with some cheeky jokes about doing two-handed push-ups and then exited the stage with his statue in hand, ensuring that perhaps no Oscar speech in history has quite so perfectly reflected the person in question. The moment became instantly iconic, enough that Crystal kept making tongue-in-cheek references to Palance throughout the rest of the show, commenting that he had done various outlandish things, such as bungee jump off the Hollywood sign, father all the children in a song and dance number, and win the New York primary election. Hey, none of that comes close to being Jack Palance, folks. I mean, the dude led Tango and Cash. That's like the coolest thing ever. And those were the 10 best ways actors accepted awards. Do you have any other cool shouts for actors going up and getting their big statues? Let us know down in the comments below, and while you're down there, it would be amazing if you give us a like, share, and subscribe, as it really does help us out. Remember, you can find more content like this back at whatculture.com, and more of me if you want to on Twitter at EwanRuinsThings. In any case, you've been great, I've been Ewan, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Bye!